My name's Neil Thomas. Of course, Wedding Help, it is the biggest online platform in Northern Ireland. We've got our Facebook group and our website. It's www.weddinghelpni.com. My guest today is none other than the Dublin magician himself, Mr. Jamie Skelton. How's it going, Jamie?
Hey Dale, good to see you again.
It is good to see. Good to see. Somebody we always bump into each other and we always see each other. But you know what? We've never talked sort of like this. So we haven't. So this is new. So
we're normally rushing around a wedding. I actually think last time we would have met was here. We did a wedding here. I was doing the kind of drinks reception. Then you were on after dinner. So
yeah. And we're at, I should have said, we're at the Beach Lawns Hotel today. So we're, I think this is, we met at the Beach Lawns and we didn't really get to chat. Tell me, where did it all start? Because I've never asked you how you got started.
Yeah, so I always say there's two stories. So there's the short story and the long story. Short story, like most kids, you get a magic set, you practice a bit and you call yourself a magician. So that's the kind of short story. Long story is essentially my uncle Joe. He's a magician, a professional magician, Joe Daly. And he kind of got me into magic as a little kid and kind of took me under his wing, taught me a few magic tricks. And more I got into it and the more I practiced, he kind of, helped me and showed me the ropes essentially in terms of the business of being a performer. Because as you know yourself, it's not just about doing the show, it's about the business aspect as well. So the show business.
And that was a great mentor, to have Joe. That's a great mentor.
Yeah, I was very lucky to have him and still do. And we chat every day nearly. And, we swap tips and advice and he still mentors me to this day. But quick story, essentially as a teenager, I hadn't been doing magic for a while. I kind of took a bit of a break, in my teenage years. And my family brought me on holiday with my little brother to Disneyland, Florida. And we walked into a magic shop that was in Disneyland in Florida. Yeah. And the guy there started demoing a magic trick for the audience. And straight away, I just fell back in love with magic. And that just kind of reignited something in me. But I always say the weird part of the story is, and this is 100% true, we were flying back on this big jumbo jet from America. And in front of all of the children's seats, we're in the little magazine kind of place in front of you on the seat. There was children's books just to keep us entertained. And the book I had, and I still have it to this day, was a history of magic. So it's like this informational children's book, an animated book about magic and the history of magic. And that was just in my seat. And I thought that was very strange. It was almost like fate or destiny, if you want to say that. So yes. Since then, I've just been absolutely hooked. And
have you ever done any other jobs apart from magic, or is this sort of your...
Not really. Like magic has always been my only job, so to speak. I did work in a coffee shop for about 6 months, but that was just more so out of a love of coffie. And I was kind of helping a friend out at the time. He needed someone to cover a shift, and I love coffee. That's one of my other kind of little hobbies and loves. But yeah, apart from that, like I've just done magic since I was 14 professionally up to now. I'm 31, so I'm very lucky to have it as my main.
And do you know what it shows there? Like that you're 31 now, didn't you say?
Yeah.
And it shows because like I've seen your act. Like, funny that last time we were on here at the Beach Lawns, I was about an hour. Well, I thought I was on at a certain time, and I got to sort of watch your act, and it's such a polished act.
Oh, thank you.
And you know that whenever you're watching an act, like even with a hypnotist show. You get into a rhythm of going with an act, and it's the same. You get into a rhythm of going with, and I noticed it's such a polished act, but you can see that you've had your 15, 16 years of just polishing that act to get it where it needs to be. How did the wedding market come about? How did you fall in that? I know you do lots of different, you'll do a lot of corporate events too, but the wedding market's a big market for you as well, isn't that?
It is, yeah. So like primarily I would have started out as a children's magician, a children's entertainer, doing like birthdays and christenings and communions and all that stuff. And I did that for a number of years. But my primary love was close-up magic and mind reading, card magic. So I wanted to do that for adults. And I was thinking to myself, well, where, am I going to be booked to do an adult performance, primarily at a wedding, corporate events? So I started putting myself out there and got the odd wedding booking here and there, but I only started really taking the wedding market seriously when I was kind of in my late 20s. And I said, right, I'm really going to, aim for this and try and put myself out there for weddings. And slowly but gradually, it just kind of happened. The more weddings I did, the more weddings I got, because, luckily everyone I meet is a potential customer for maybe their own wedding or a family member's wedding. Just word kind of spread organically, and I started advertising with platforms the likes of Weddings Help Northern Ireland. Yeah. And just got more and more weddings.
And I think I'm just going to touch back. I think what you said there's something great in what you said. Your type, there is different types of magic, and you were saying that, like the mind reading magic or mentalism and stuff like that. It's a different type of, and you were saying you weren't so much on the table magic, you were more under that sort of that mentalism style magic. And I suppose even for couples as well, that is different. It's not, I'm sure you do lots of card tricks and stuff as well, but there is a wow factor. I always think with mentalism myself, anyway, it is a wow factor, and it's more a stage sort of show, isn't that right? I'm right in saying that?
So like essentially, look, I love card tricks and sleight-of-hand magic, but I suppose I'm a product of my generation. So growing up, I would have watched the likes of David Blaine and Darren Brown, and those kind of guys made magic very cool and very different. So a lot of people like my uncle would have grown up with the likes of Paul Daniels, and that magic was of its time. It was very colourful and bright and, flowers and boxes. Whereas what I grew up loving was card tricks and tricks with borrowed objects like your watch or a coin, or reading someone's mind and telling them the name of their childhood pet. And I always just found that got such a better reaction than just producing a bunch of flowers or, something like that. So I really got into the mentalism or mind reading, psychological magic, we call it, side of things. And I mixed that in with the card magic and the close-up magic. So primarily I perform close-up magic mingling around a room, or I could be on stage performing for like 100 people at a time, similar to yourself.
And I think for a wedding, that's amazing because you're offering so many different sort of disciplines, I suppose you could say, because, let's say for like afternoon drinks receptions, that walk around stuff can be lovely. Whereas maybe as it gets into the evening, the more sort of stage stuff can come in well. Like you'll be able to tell me in that. But you offer lots of different stuff throughout the day, or there's lots of different time slots you can be booked into. Tell us a bit about that, or what you recommend us.
So look, my act is quite flexible. So sometimes people want me for the drinks reception, sometimes they want me for the after dinner slot, sometimes I'm there all day. So it really depends on what the couple needs, on what they want, and what other entertainment they've booked. For example, I could be booked to do drinks reception, and then someone like yourself, a hypnotist, could be booked for the after dinner slot later on. So look, primarily the drinks reception is kind of my favourite time to perform, and it's my most popular slot. So essentially, once the guests arrive at the venue, I'm there on hand to kind of mingle with everybody in small groups and perform amazing, mind-blowing magic and blow them away, get them talking, get them laughing, get them clapping, screaming sometimes, and then I head off to the next group and they're just left there chatting about what they've just witnessed, which is lovely. So I kind of work the whole drinks reception, and then once the dinner bell goes off, that's when I'm kind of done and dusted and I disappear, so to speak, no pun intended.
I always think with the magic and the walkabout magic as well, you can always get some great reactions in them groups, and you would see it, you might even in your Instagram and stuff, you'll see them great reactions, where you'll have a guest, and I always think it's brilliant whenever you maybe have like an older uncle or something like that, you're getting that great reaction.
Exactly, it's brilliant for your photographer and videographer or your content creator. They're there to capture that. So I get sent back plenty of photographs and videos of people's amazed faces, which is lovely for the couple to have as well, because a lot of time they're out getting their own photos done, or they're off chatting to the other guests, and they mightn't get to see the kind of reactions that I'm generating. So at least once the wedding's done and finished, they can look back through the photos and say, oh my goodness, look at this, like everyone had such fun with the magician, and there's Uncle Pete or there's my mum getting to have a laugh, which is a nice memento for them to keep. But I'm very lucky. What I do causes such a great reaction with people, and just essentially makes them happy and provides a bit of kind of entertainment essentially. So
we touched there a bit on the afternoon drinks receptions. Moving on then throughout the day into I suppose then into the dinner time, what sort of services you offer? Like an MC service, which I think is brilliant because you've got that bit of magic, and you're a very great speaker. It's professional. I think there's different terms in that. It's it's a classy. You offer like a classy service.
Classy, yeah, elegant service.
Yeah,
that's a nice way to put
it.
it. Yeah, and look, so apart from being a magician, as you mentioned, I'm also an MC. So I like to bill myself as a magic MC. So essentially, all that is I'm a magician, but I'm also the Toastmaster on the day, or the MC for the whole wedding day. So that's one of my most booked packages now, is my half day or full day MC package. So I'm there on hand to do the magic, perform for everybody at the drinks reception throughout the meal, but I'm also there to act as a Toastmaster and do all the announcements, bring the bridal party into the room, get everybody up, clapping and cheering, look after the speeches, compare the speeches, make sure everybody knows who's next, and, there's no awkward kind of fumbling in the mic. And I also do a little show before the speeches for the whole room, just to get everyone's attention and to get them warmed up as well. I also do the cutting of the cake and the first dance if needs be as well. Yeah. That's kind of later on in the evening. So yeah, my Magic MC service, I suppose, is very, very popular now. And, it's just a nice professional service for a couple to book on their wedding day. Just adds that little bit of extra wow factor.
I think as well, can tick as well, because, I've done it as well. You find there's shyer couples, and even with speeches and stuff, it can be a bit awkward. And that's a great service to have somebody with that bit of professionalism. Or, as well, you go in the hotel and something like you're coming along with a PA and stuff. You can go in the hotel sometimes and they give you a microphone. You'll know this from performing, because we both bring in PAs, and you're going, that's just not good. But it's good to have that good PA that this sounds right. Yeah. It sounds the way it's supposed to sound, and everything works really well. And I suppose it takes the nerves away from people, because you've passed it over to them and it's done all nice and professional,
Exactly. Look, I'm there on the day to essentially just give them a stress-free day. And, the last thing they should be worrying about is that nobody can hear the speeches, or the sound system isn't great. So yeah, same as yourself, I bring along my own crystal clear PA system and microphone as well. Look, some venues have great PA systems, nothing against the venues, but a lot of the time it could be an old system. Yeah. The person who knows how to work it is sick that day, so they're not there to check the microphone quality. And as I said, sometimes you can be handed a microphone from the hotel and it's not great quality.
I think as well that, it's definitely not one of them things that's hotels fault. I think at times hotel rooms, if you have 300 people in a hotel room, it's a lot going on for a public, for like a public address system to get that sort of.
Exactly, yeah. It mightn't be suited for that particular environment.
It's suited for just a quick announcement. It's not really for speeches and stuff. So it's definitely a great service. Do you do later with magic? What's your ideal times, or what's your thoughts?
I can be booked for the after dinner slot as well. So in the same way that I'm there at the reception, sometimes I'm there after the meals during that lull period. So yourself, people have just pushed away their dessert plate, they're done and dusted, and there's nothing really happening until the band starts. So that's normally an hour and a half or 2 hours sometimes that they have to just kind of sit there. They might go back up to the room and just refresh themselves, or they might go outside for a drink or a smoke. So essentially, I'm there on hand to keep them entertained. I perform around the tables and do a little mini show per table and just fill that lull period, get the energy going again. Sometimes it can dip after dinner. People are a bit full and, they've had a few drinks, they're feeling a bit tired. So I'm there just to kind of reinvigorate them and just provide a bit of entertainment. Can they tailor
their sort of what they're looking from you? So because I've seen you perform and it's more of a stage sort of issue. Well, more of a stage show. So if they were looking something more like that, or they're looking walk around, they can tell you sort of what, or you sort of, whenever you're touching base with couples, do you offer sort of what?
Yeah, so as I said, it's quite flexible, but I would always take their needs into consideration, chat with a couple, ask them what other entertainment they have booked throughout the day, and tell them where I might fit in best. Or they might think package A is good, where I look at their wedding day and I say, no, I think package B would suit you better for this reason. So I'm there to really have a consultation with them and give them a Zoom call or ring them and just chat through their day and let them know what I think would work best. But sometimes I'm booked, for the reception and the after dinner slot without the MC duties. Sometimes I'm there all day doing absolutely everything. So it's quite flexible and kind of gives them the option.
I think you touched on something great there. It's always great for a couple to sort of ask that as well. Find out from yourself what's suited, because I think every wedding is different. And if a couple have, let's say they have me booked for an after meals slot, well, you're going to know that really you don't want to be coming on after meal. Maybe you're coming on a drinks reception and let me do the after meal rather than trying to clog everything in that one area.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, you'll have too much going on.
Similar acts as well in a way, like, you know, that sort of way. We're going to touch on some questions. So these are great quick fire questions. What character off TV would you want to be? What character off TV would you want to be?
What character off TV would I like to be? I'd like to be, do you know the show Mentalist? The Mentalist?
Do you know what? I'm nearly sure that guy, the guy that wrote that show, he's a Vegas.
Yeah, it's the guy who helped do the kind of consultation of the show. He's a Vegas mentalist. So there's a show, if anyone doesn't know it, it's a kind of it's a cop kind of show where this guy who's a former mentalist comes in to help. His name is Patrick Jane in the show. I forget the name of the actual actor. He's a very good looking Australian guy. I'm nowhere near as good looking as him. I wish I was. But I like his character in the show. He's very suave. He's very charming. He's very funny. But he's also an amazing mentalist, and he can detect when people are lying, and you know, uses that to help the cops in the show solve crimes.
I haven't actually watched it. And I must watch it. The only reason I knew about the guy, we were at me and the wife were in Vegas last year, and we went along to the Mentalist show, and I remember him explaining that. I can't remember the guy's name.
Luke Germain, I think, is the guy who probably helped out the show. But
there we go.
So yeah, Patrick Drain from The Mentalist. I think I'd like to be his
that's
character.
Your character. So
that's what I try and be.
What's your favourite sport?
Oh God! So being a magician, I'm not the most sporty person, or I certainly wasn't as a kid. So
I don't know about that now, because I've seen different on Instagram over the last couple of days.
So in the past couple of years, running has been a big part of my life, and I just took that up only the past 2-3 years really. So I run a lot now, and I've done a few marathons and half marathons, and then recently I was in Switzerland doing a high rocks competition. And for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's a kind of a hybrid fitness race. So you're doing running and weightlifting as well. So yeah, look, during my kind of childhood years, I never played football. I wasn't really in the gym. I was just focused on magic, because normally if you're doing magic, you're not like the cool, sporty, popular kid. Yeah. You know, you're the kind of nerdy magic kid. So that's kind of what I was like as a kid. But yeah, the past couple of years, I've started to take my health more seriously and exercise in the gym and running. So I suppose running would be my favorite sport at the moment. Fantastic.
Favorite reality TV show?
Favorite reality TV show? I do like Celebrity. I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Winter in the Jungle. It's kind of a cool show. I like seeing how people react in those situations. So I'd say, probably I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
I'd say similar to myself. You know, that reaction and stuff, you know, reading people, because you're always, I think, whenever we're doing performances, I know I am, and I would say you're exactly the same. You're watching the room, aren't you? You're always you're always figuring out things, aren't you?
Yeah.
Favorite music group or artist?
Favorite music group or artist? I'm quite weird. I like a lot of 80s stuff. I was born in 1993, but I just love music from the 80s. So Journey, Don't Stop Believing is like one of my most favorite songs of all time. And Jump by Van Halen.
They're fantastic wedding songs.
Great wedding songs as well, and I always like to play them. So Van Halen would be one of my favourite bands, and I just like anything really from the 80s. I'm always listening to 80s music.
Best month for a wedding?
For me, I like an August wedding. I find August is one of my busier times of year, and it's a nice time of year. You know, it's sunny-ish and kind of somewhat warm, so you have a lot of outdoor weddings, which I always love doing it outside. I'd say August would be one of my favourite wedding months.
Are you into a spa break or activity break? What's your thoughts?
Spa break, definitely spa break. I've started taking more kind of spa trips with my wife now, and
you're only newly married, isn't
newly married, December 2023. So
there we go.
We had a nice spa break in the Galgorm for our honeymoon, which is
brilliant,
lovely.
Brilliant.
So yeah, that was really, really nice. So yeah, definitely a spa break person.
What's the maddest, funniest thing that's ever happened to you at a wedding?
I've had people cry before when I've done my act, and I mean cry in a good way, tears of happiness. So I do a lot of mind reading stuff, and sometimes people would think of, you know, someone who's passed away, maybe a close family friend, and without knowing it, I've told them who that person is, and they just burst into tears, which is kind of a nice reaction, but obviously you don't want people crying either when they've booked you to entertain their guests. So that's once or twice I've had someone just burst into tears when I've told them the name of a loved one who's passed away, and I'm not psychic or anything, it's just a trick and an illusion, but they sometimes really do think I'm psychic. Yeah, some people have genuinely believe that I think I can tell them the lottery numbers or something like that.
So you're going to tell me the lottery numbers now? You're going to be the mentalist now, so you are?
Well, I don't know about the lottery numbers, but I might be able to do something if you want to try it.
Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go.
I don't suppose you have your phone on you, do you?
I do.
Are you connected to the internet? You have your on?
Not. Do you want me to?
Yeah, connect to the internet for a second. We're essentially just going to try something with, the website Wikipedia.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this with Wikipedia. And we can use my phone if yours isn't connected, but if it is, great.
A 5G, is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
That's the most you can have. So Google Wikipedia there for me, Dale.
Yeah.
And we're going to try something kind of interesting. So you're going to go into Wikipedia. If anyone has been living under a rock and doesn't know what Wikipedia is, it's the world's largest online encyclopedia. That's perfect. Can I search something in your Wikipedia?
Of course.
Okay. Thank you. So as I do this, I want you to roll a dice in your head, an invisible dice, and you're going to land on a number between, say, 1 and 6. But it's very important you change your mind a few times, just in case anyone thinks, everyone picks that number. So do you have a number in your mind?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've just gone on to today's featured article. It's about some Australian army guy. Okay, it's very random. So what number did you just roll in your head?
4.
4. Perfect. Do you want to change your mind?
No, I'm going to stick with 4.
Remember 4. So what I'm going to do in Wikipedia is I'm going to search for something random. So it's like a game of word association we're going to play, essentially, okay? So if I search for apple, that's going to make you think of banana. Does that make sense? Or something similar, right? So I'm going to search for something kind of random. I'm going to go for weddings, right? So I'm going to search weddings. I'm going to go into the page about weddings. So now we're on an article about weddings. So you have these blue links in these articles. So when I click one of those hyperlinks, it'll bring me to a different page.
Yeah.
So we're going to use a few hyperlinks based on what you want to search. So name something that pops into your mind when you hear wedding. It can literally be anything, something we could search in Wikipedia, like wedding ring, suit, something like that.
We'll go with bride.
Bride, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to search for bride. Okay, so we've searched bride, woman who's about to get married. Yes? I'm going to give you back the phone, and what I want you to do, Dale, is you're going to scroll through that article about brides, and you're going to hit one of the blue links, and it'll bring you to a different page. So do that for me now, and you can just call it out loud and tell us what link you've hit. What did you go for?
North America.
North America. So see how random this is. We started out with weddings, went to bride, now we're in North America. So you're going to do that 4 more times, and I'm going to write down the words that you pick. So go through, hit another blue word and call it out loud. Whatever word you want. Blue word. Okay, what did you go with?
Biodiversity.
Okay, well, biodiversity. Okay, so biodiversity. Perfect. Hit another one. We have biodiversity. Do another one.
Human.
Good. Do another one. So that's biodiversity, human.
Inflation.
And one more.
Genetics.
Perfect. So Dale, think about it this way. This is so random. We went on to Wikipedia on your phone. I thought of weddings. That made you think bride. From there, went to North America. And from there, went to biodiversity, human, inflation, and genetics. Now, honestly, do those words mean anything to you?
Nothing at all.
Nothing really. They're all kind of random words. But they mean something specifically to you. Do you know why?
Why is that?
It was that number you rolled in your head on the dice. What was the number you rolled?
4.
4. And if you circle the 4th letter of every word, it spells out D-A-L-E.
There we go. That's very good.
And Peter's losing his mind. Dale, name of our host. So that is bizarre. And had you changed your mind and picked any other word or any other number in the dice, that simply wouldn't have worked. Yeah. So I'll show that there to the camera just in case you can't see it.
Absolutely fantastic.
There you go.
Well done.
Weird. You can keep that as a souvenir.
So how have you found the Wedding Help page? How have you found Wedding Help NI? You're
It's been
quite
great.
new to it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's look, I'm only kind of newly joined in the past couple of months, but since then it's been absolutely brilliant. Genuinely has. The Facebook group is great. So I find a lot of people are looking for the likes of myself, some different, interesting entertainment, or sometimes people are posting, hey, and you know a good magician, and it's been great. I've been tagged a lot by other suppliers like yourself that I've formed relationships with, and then obviously been able to advertise my services in the comments and help prospective couples find entertainment essentially. So yeah, it's been really good, and it's great. I've gotten to, I suppose, kind of showcase myself to a different side of the country that maybe wouldn't have heard of me before. I'm getting to also meet a lot of great suppliers like yourself, and just Northern Ireland suppliers I wouldn't have really met otherwise, and even interesting venues I haven't been to yet.
And I always think there's not many. Like I would travel a lot, sort of down, like sort of Kildare and Wicklow, and which would be that would be your stomping ground. But there isn't as many do it the whole way about, so it's good to see as well. I always think that as well. It's good to see.
Look, I don't find there's too many magicians in Northern Ireland, which is great for me. But I suppose it would be nice to give couples more options for if they wanted a magician at their wedding. So I'm delighted to be able to help and just showcase my talents and help out here, I guess.
I think couples always ask me, one of the, like if I'm getting booked for a wedding in Limerick or something, do you travel? And you're the exact same as myself. Nationwide, you're happy enough.
Yeah.
You'll go anywhere to do a gig, isn't that right?
Yeah, I go where now. Obviously, look, there's travel charges. Obviously, a gig in Dublin would be different for a gig in Donegal or Cork or whatever. So I do travel all over the country, and prices do range just to do with the travel element, obviously. But yeah, happy to go anywhere. I love traveling the country and just meet new people in new spots, different places.
So tell us, where can people find out about you? Tell your websites or social media. What's all your links and stuff?
Yeah, so I have a website, jamieskelton.ie. It's JAMIESKELTON.ie. It's my name. And then I have my Instagram, which is @Dublin Magician. So Dublin Magician is my Instagram. You can find me there on Facebook as well. But Instagram's my primary.
You're great on Instagram. I always keep up with myself on Instagram. So there's lots going on there. And couples can see lots of stuff as well on Instagram. There's some lovely pictures as well.
Exactly. There's a lot of, anyone who wants to check it out, there's a lot of, photographs from photographers and videos from videographers and content creators that they've sent me on of people's reactions or me performing on the day. So yeah, if couples want to check out what I do, they can scroll through my Instagram, see a lot of reaction shots and videos and testimonials, and just kind of get a sense of what I do, Have you anything else you can show us today? I do, yeah. I have one more quick trick if you'd like. So, deck of cards. Do you play cards at all? Are you a poker player?
I don't know. I'm awful, like,
That's okay. Cards. Well, look, I have a deck of cards here. I'm going to give them a little shuffle up. Now, this is kind of what poker players would do to kind of cheat, essentially. So, you've heard of bluffs and all that kind of stuff and facial expression reading. So, this is what poker players would do to try and, I suppose, find out what cards you have. So essentially, I've just shuffled up the decks in a random order. So what I'm going to get you to do, Dale, is you're just going to reach across and you're going to just take out a bunch of, like, let's say 4 or 5 cards. So you're just going to take them out as a little bunch together. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I'll let you go ahead. You can just grab out a few little cards if you want. You happy with those ones? Yeah, just take them out as a bunch. And just hold them up to your chest, okay? Hold them up to your chest. And just give them a little shuffle up in your hand. So give them a little mix around. So essentially, Dale has his own like little personal poker hand there. Okay? Okay, so what I want you to do, I'm not even going to look at you as I do this. How many cards do you have? 4 or 5?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Perfect. So you've the table there beside you, yes? So here's what I want you to do. You're going to hold your poker hand. I'm not even going to look at you, but what I am going to do is I'm going to listen to you, okay? So I want you to just repeat after me. Hearts, spades, clubs, diamonds.
Hearts, spades, clubs, diamonds.
Mm-hmm. Now say ace, 2, 3.
Ace, 2, 3.
4, 5, 6.
4, 5, 6.
7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9.
Jack, queen, king.
Jack, queen, king.
And 10.
And 10.
Okay. If you have the 7 of hearts, can you place it on the table? Show it to the camera and place it on the table. Good. Now again, I'm just looking at the floor here. You also have you have another red card, a diamond, the 4 of diamonds. Is that right? Yeah? Good. Throw that to the table. Now you've 2 cards left. Are these black cards? Yes?
Yes.
Are they both clubs?
Yeah.
Show the camera the ace and the 9 of clubs.
There we go, big hand. Absolutely fantastic.
You're never going to play cards with me, no?
I'm not going to take you to Vegas, that's for sure.
Well, we might be able to go and win some money. You never know.
We could.
You hypnotise him. I'll read the cards.
We'd be a great duo.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jamie. It was great. It was great to get a catch up and great to find out information that I never knew.
Yeah.
So there we go. My name's been Dale Thomas. Jamie Skelton, Dublin magician. Give him a big hand. Woo!
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you all soon. Bye for now.